Hello, I'm Aleem Rayani, General Manager of Microsoft Compliance and Privacy. Welcome to Ignite 2021. Now, we have a lot of exciting news and product updates to share with you as we continue to invest in risk management and compliance solutions. So let's get started. At Microsoft, we embrace a strategy of zero trust. This is not only the practice of protecting against outside-in threats, but also protecting from the inside out. For us, addressing the area of compliance is inclusive of managing risks related to data. And that isn't just the data stored in the Microsoft cloud, but across environments. We want our compliance solutions to be for all clouds and all platforms. So we've invested in creating that inside-out protection by extending our capabilities to third parties to help customers reduce risk across their entire digital estate. Now that we've mostly settled into the new normal of hybrid work, we're starting to see a shift in customer challenges. When I speak with customers, I found many of them are facing challenges across three key areas. The first is how to protect their Microsoft and their non-Microsoft environments. The second is how to evaluate the risk posture. And last but not least, how to collaborate securely in a remote world. This has created new compliance-related opportunities for us to help put the proper safeguards in place. Let's dig into each one of these. More than 90% of enterprise customers have a multi-cloud strategy. Yet just under 30% of organizations are challenged with protecting data across clouds and platforms. Our customers and our partners want to be able to use our intelligent risk, compliance, and privacy solutions for their Microsoft and their non-Microsoft assets and environments. That's why we're heavily investing in building a platform which enables our customers and our partners to extend our compliance, risk, and privacy solutions to any cloud, any platform in a simplified, integrated, and consistent manner. And today, we're super excited to see that show up in a number of new product updates. Rudy, our Corporate Vice President of Engineering, is here to show you some of these investments. Rudy?
Thanks, Aleem. My name is Rudy Mitra, and my team is really excited to share with you today what we've been up to. I want to start with some big news that customers have been asking us for. And that's the availability of Microsoft Endpoint DLP on the macOS platform. Now, customers are able to enforce DLP policies on Macs to prevent using, copy-pasting, saving, printing, and sharing of sensitive information such as credit cards, medical documents, intellectual property, and of course, other defined content. This means potential risks to the organization can be quickly identified and blocked. Let me show you a few of these DLP policies in action on my Mac. Let's say we want to print this document. As you can see here, when I go to click print, this action is blocked entirely. And there's no ability to override. This is our block mode. But what if I want my users to be able to override the block if they have a legitimate business need? I hit print again, and DLP will still record the policy violation and block the activity, but in this case, it will allow the override. The user can then select the appropriate business justification and move on with their workflow. In our example, we have the out-of-box justifications that came with DLP, but you can also fully customize these to meet your business needs. Here, the user overrides the policy as part of their established business workflow and can move on. All right, what if I now try to copy this document to a USB drive? I hit save, and yeah, in this action, it's also blocked. The policy can be defined in the same way as it was with printing, so let's give that another try. I hit save, and you can see we have the policy set in this case to allow the user to override the block by selecting a justification. The policy violation in this case is also recorded to the compliance manager. These DLP capabilities are also available with cloud uploads, copy to clipboard, copy to network share, and access by an unallowed app. We're excited that our customers can now use our powerful data loss prevention solution on their Mac endpoint devices.
Such great news. I know customers have been wanting to see this. And really, isn't Insider Risk Management leveraging this same agent?
Yep, it sure is. We're using this connector to extend Insider Risk Management to cover Mac devices as well. This gives us the ability to obtain insider risk exfiltration patterns on Mac, such as copying files to a USB. Now, in addition, I'm excited to announce today that we can connect to other apps and healthcare services as well. This is an industry that faces tremendous regulatory pressures to ensure they are appropriately managing access to patient records. These records can get leaked or compromised, resulting in a very high cost of breach, HIPAA violations, and of course, legal fees. I'm excited to announce that we are introducing a new policy template in Insider Risk Management that customers can set up to capture patient health data misuse scenarios. Let me show you how this works. Customers now have the ability to opt in for indicators within their global settings. And as you can see here, this is for patient data misuse, like accessing health records of another employee or outside of access privileges. Once I put these settings in place, I can now create a policy with these indicators and even customize the risk threshold. This allows me to tune the policies so that they align to my organizational risk appetite. Now that I've set up the policy, we can start to see this in action. This is the dashboard. We have an alert here for a user accessing high volumes of health records of 3 patients. We can click into this alert to determine whether or not this is a malicious misuse of patient data and take action by remediating the risk or even escalating the case for further investigation.
Awesome. Thanks, Rudy. This is actually a perfect segue to speak with our next guests. We have David and Wade here from St. Luke's to talk to us about how they're using insider risk management to identify and take action on critical risks within their organization. Welcome, David and Wade. So great to have you both here.
Hey, thanks for having us. This is fun.
Thanks for having us.
So, what are the top insider risks that are of concern in the healthcare industry?
So in the healthcare industry, the biggest thing that we always have to deal with is obviously our data. So it's our patient data, our financial data, our employee data. But obviously the biggest one is always the patient data. So it's dealing with individuals that are responsible for moving data around our organization. So obviously our billing and coding environment, our providers, our primary care workers, the ones that are really inside of our EMR and our patient information on a day-to-day basis. So the biggest things that we have to deal with insider risk are issues of our individuals that will move data in certain areas because they're trying to speed up or get more productive with how they do things. So a lot of times you'll have individuals that'll spend 12, 14, 15 hours a day at work trying to get billing done or trying to get patient records filled out, and they'll try to send it home. So obviously we have that issue that as soon as they try to do that and it's successful, obviously we have a loss of data in that perspective. We also have individuals trying to download it onto a hard drive or a CD or something like that, that obviously, again, puts our organization at risk for losing that data. And then you also have the individuals that are just being straight malicious that are looking at patient information when they're not supposed to. So it's insider risk is not just moving the data out and moving it to a place that's obviously not authorized or not allowed or acceptable by regulatory or inside policy. It's the use of that data. So they're pulling that data down, they're redistributing it in different ways, they're maliciously trying to look at the data that they really shouldn't be. So in healthcare, you're always dealing with care teams, and you're dealing with individuals that are supposed to look at patient records on a day-to-day basis for a set of patients. Most providers, nurses, those type of individuals, they're looking probably at 40 or 50 patients a day. When you have an individual that does that, and then all of a sudden on a Friday or a Monday morning, they're looking at 200 or 300 patient records for that day, that flags automatically an insider risk issue because that's outside of the norm of their day-to-day function. So are they looking to move patients somewhere else? Are they looking at the data that they're not supposed to? Are they working with another company and they're trying to gather a patient set and move that to another hospital or another doctor's office? So there's various issues that we deal with when it comes to insider risk in healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on, both the inadvertent and the malicious, and that's what we hear often from customers. So let's talk a little bit about, adopting insider risk. And before you adopted insider risk management in Microsoft 365, how are you identifying and dealing with the risks you were facing, what you just articulated?
To get to the individual real time is really the crux of what our insider risk management process really is allowing us to do with this new tool within Microsoft. It's allowing us to be, again, more collaborative with our HR department, but also to really educate and change the culture of our users who for years and years have thought they were doing the right thing. But now that we can see it, it's in real time. HR is involved, legal is involved, but the individual can now associate that real life activity with, for lack of a better term, getting in trouble or having the organization let them know that what they were doing is against policy and against standards, and seeing that the fact that moving data within the organization, even though you may think you have the right to it or you think you have responsibility to it, how you do that has ramifications. So being able to change the culture, educate our users in real time, even educate our HR staff and our legal department that what people are doing inside the organization is going to cause risk to the organization has been a significant win, because what happens is that it's human nature. One person gets caught, they talk. Oh, I tried to do that. I tried to send something home. I tried to send a spreadsheet home. I tried to send this home, and I was caught, and HR within minutes was on the phone with me. It spreads like wildfire. So one of the beauties of what we've seen is we've seen a drastic reduction in the amount of insider risk that we have in the organization. And the other piece that happens is when new people come on board, providers, nurses, administrative staff, whatever the case may be, it's one of the first things that I hear people talk about is, hey, be careful what you do. Don't move data the wrong way. Make sure you stay within your four walls, because security will catch you and will make sure that they tell HR and you may get in trouble for it. So everybody's like, okay. And now Wade and I get a significant amount of phone calls and emails to say, hey, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. Or can I do this with the vendor? What do you think the most appropriate way to do this is? And again, it becomes a very fun way to educate the user, but also it's a significant shift in our culture.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you're using some of the tools to really educate users and, quite frankly, take care of patient data. I mean, I'm a patient, so I appreciate that. And then also just how you deal with it on the back end. You're getting visibility in things you didn't have before. You're stitching together Azure Sentinel with the Microsoft Cloud App Security, the data loss prevention solution, and bringing that together. And you're collaborating on finding the solution. And I think it's awesome to see that you've reduced the number of incidents you're dealing with. And then you're just really taking on those most serious ones because you're able to focus on those. So it's really great to see how you're adopting the solution. Now, if I were to, I just want to take a minute to ask you something that's sort of more specific to the medical industry, right? The healthcare space. What benefits are you seeing from the Insider Risk Medical Electronic Records connector that you're using?
Wait, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, so for us, I think David hit the nail on the head before, where here at the hospital, the most important thing that we have is our patient and taking care of our patient. So for the doctors and nurses, sometimes they're doing the wrong thing, but not knowing they're doing it. It's incidental by sharing information with a provider that they needed to that might be external. So being able to see that within the tool is important to us because, like David said, we can educate them. When it comes to the healthcare connector, we're able to pick out the different scenarios where it might not be incidental. It might be myself looking at my son or my daughter's or my wife's medical record when I'm not actually working on them and I'm not a nurse, so I shouldn't be doing that. Or my neighbor just went to the hospital in the ambulance and I'm nosy, so I want to see what's going on. We're able to pick out some of those scenarios where some of the details we can pin together to see why is this person looking at these records, or anomalies such as I'm looking at 1,500 records today, but on a normal day, I only look at about 10 to 50, somewhere in that range where it's much more significant today. So being able to pick out those anomalies, being able to pick out family member, neighbor, celebrities or news. So if in the past there's been a big accident in the area, somebody might go on and start looking at this specific person that was in the accident, seeing that kind of stuff. That's where we'll get a huge advantage with the tool. And we'll see that.
And to kind of capitalize on that, the beauty of it is that we can get it real time. So we don't have to wait for it anymore. We can, the dashboards that we've built and the way in which we built the policy, we don't even have to get involved in it anymore. We can have it directly linked to compliance. We've given our compliance office access to it, so they have the ability to jump right in and look and be proactive with it and not have to worry about us giving them the information. Same with our HR department. We don't have to worry about our HR department knowing the information. The hardest part for us with them is just being able to do the investigation once they see it to make sure that they have all the information they need. But again, having an EMR the size that we have of 4.5 million patient records and at least 9,000 to 10,000 people going into our Epic record every single day to care for all the patients that are seen across all the St. Luke's areas, it just becomes a very daunting task to have to do it manually. The insider risk process within Microsoft is giving us that at the speed of light, so it's great.
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting broader visibility and more signal into your process. And honestly, I hope that all healthcare organizations take the care that you've taken with patient data and adopt some of these processes and these approaches, because that can make us all as patients safer. And so I wanted to say a huge thank you to you, David and Wade, for joining us today and sharing a bit about your journey in dealing with insider risk. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
We know most of our enterprise customers have built a multi-cloud strategy into their business and need help managing compliance with their non-Microsoft 365 workloads. And with ever-evolving industry and global regulations, organizations need more help than ever to make sure they're compliant with all the relevant standards. Data shows there are over 250 daily updates to global regulations. It's nearly impossible to keep up with all these changes, especially with data stored across a hybrid environment. In fact, 1 in 4 organizations don't know which data regulations apply to their company. Here's how we can help. Today, we're excited to share with you universal templates from Compliance Manager. Now you'll be able to assess risk across your multi-cloud environment. I have Shilpa from our team here to walk us through a demo. Shilpa?
Thank you, Aleem. We are keeping our customers' multi-cloud strategy front and center in our innovations in Compliance Manager. Let's say a customer uses Microsoft 365, SAP, Salesforce, and Oracle clouds and needs to track their compliance with California Consumer Protection Act, or CCPA, across all 4 clouds. This customer would typically find challenges in assessing their compliance in a unified way, as they most likely have to use several different tools to get a singular view of their CCPA compliance today. This is where universal templates, or in other words, non-Microsoft regulatory templates, come in. Let's dig into the demo. As you can see, I'm already working on the Microsoft 365 version of the CCPA assessment in my tenant. Right from this view, I'm able to add a new assessment. I'm easily able to look for CCPA and see 2 templates show up. Since I want to map this template to a non-Microsoft cloud, I will select the template with Universal as the product scope. I can add Salesforce as the new product, provide a unique name for the assessment, select an assessment group, and within a few clicks, my CCPA for Salesforce assessment is created. Going back to the assessments page, I can see this assessment in my list of active assessments. I can follow the same process for my SAP and Oracle clouds, and now I have all 4 CCPA assessments in my Assessments tab. It really is that simple. We're also making it easy for our customers to get automatic credits for the same action across different assessments. Say a customer uses the same solution to implement an improvement action across their multi-cloud setup. They can now leverage what we call action parenting. This capability allows them to map a parent action to an improvement action and receive automatic credits for every child action once the parent is implemented. This saves them time and effort, as they do not have to individually update the same action across different assessments. Let's see what this looks like. Here I am in my CCPA for Salesforce assessment, And I see that by applying sensitivity labels to protect personal data, I can receive 27 points to my compliance score. Since I use the same solution to implement this action across both my Salesforce and Microsoft 365 deployments, here in the Salesforce assessment, I can select parent as the data source and map it to Microsoft version of the same action. This makes the action in the Microsoft assessment parent, and the action in the Salesforce assessment becomes the child. I can now see that the status of my Salesforce improvement action is based on a parent action. Now, back in the Microsoft assessment, I can see that the same improvement action has a child action associated with it. Upon updating my test status for this action, I see that I've received 27 points. And if I set up everything correctly, then the same action for my Salesforce assessment should be updated. So let's check. Here I am in my Salesforce assessment, and I see that the child action is implemented, and I have automatically received credit. Compliance Manager today has over 300 plus universal assessment templates. Customers can easily see the complete list from the assessment templates page using the universal filter. Customers can now use Compliance Manager and track their compliance for their multi-cloud deployment from a single place, and not monitor separate tools for separate products or services. Universal assessment templates are available alongside premium assessment templates at no additional cost. We also have a 90-day trial at aka.ms/try-compliance-manager that provides access to 25 premium and universal assessment templates. That's all for the demo. Back to you, Aleem.
Awesome. Thanks, Shilpa. This is such important progress to help meet our customers where they're at in their journey. Now, back over to Rudy to learn more about how we're helping organizations stay protected while they collaborate. Rudy?
Thanks, Aleem. At this point, hybrid work has fully changed the role of technology within organizations, and even here for us at Microsoft. Employees and workforces are more disparate than ever before, meaning your organization's data is being created, accessed, stored, and shared across platforms, apps, devices, and even clouds. That's a lot of ground to cover, and you need to be able to eliminate any exposure points. 86% of C-level executives believe the risk of a data breach is higher when employees are working remotely. My team recognizes this challenge and has an opportunity to deliver protection in new ways without compromising on productivity or collaboration. We know the user experience is more important than ever before in order to improve productivity and ensure security. That's why we have built-in risk management solutions to our existing productivity tools like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, and Outlook. Protections and policies are set seamlessly in the background so that your users can continue to collaborate across these tools without having to worry about inadvertently sharing the wrong file with the wrong person. Plus, you can feel confident that your data is being kept secure no matter where it is. This is a problem that is getting bigger, which is why my team and I continue to invest in this area. Data shows that 1 in 3 businesses have suffered a data breach in the past 12 months due to remote work. We know productivity is key, and we know security is even more important. You can have both. I have Jenny here from my team to walk through some of the product innovations we've been working on this year to help you address these challenges. Jenny?
Thanks, Rudy. I'm so excited to be here to show everyone what we have been cooking up. Today, we are excited to announce the general availability of the co-author feature in Microsoft Information Protection. With this unique capability, multiple people can simultaneously be co-authors on a Word, Excel, or PowerPoint document. In addition, autosave, sensitivity labeling, and document protection remain in place and work across both the web and desktop applications. Thanks to co-authoring, customers no longer have to compromise on modern security for modern collaboration. Just look how my colleagues' updates come in real time so that we can continue to collaborate efficiently, even from across the country. Now, let's say I attach and send this document in Teams to a coworker. By doing so, we add new information around the document so that it's no longer just a file sitting in SharePoint. It is now content shared within a certain chat to certain people within a certain context. Now that the document is part of a message, additional risks do arise, such as monitoring for concerning behavior or ensuring the document is included with the message in a compliance search. To address these concerns, when I send this message on Teams, multiple protective actions are triggered to mitigate potential risks. Let's take a look behind the scenes. We'll first start with records management in Microsoft Information Governance. Here, admins can set a retention policy targeted to these attachments so that the lifecycle of the document matches the lifecycle of the chat. What's cool is that you can set the policy once, and it works with all modern attachments in Teams. Next is something straight from my team, Communication Compliance. The attachment in question is detected by Communication Compliance with Day Zero Insights. This feature helps you discover concerning content or behavior in your organization that you may not be aware of, like workplace harassment, threats, or sharing of inappropriate content. What's even better is that Day Zero Insights is available without any policy setup required. As you can see here, an insight can be triggered when sensitive content that matches a confidential keyword list is detected. Now that I see the risky activity in my organization, I'm motivated to create a policy that proactively detects the sharing of sensitive information. Now, if learning about this risky behavior leads me to escalate the situation to an investigation, e-discovery also works with the version of the cloud attachment that was shared. That way, the investigator knows the exact content of the document at the time it was shared. Lastly, Teams may be the cool kid on the block, but we know people are using Outlook now more than ever. So we made sure these same policies are reflected in Outlook. Here's the attachment again. And because this is a record we identified, it is grayed out on retention for ease of use by our end users. Before you leave, you can rest assured that all three of these products work in the same way, so you are ready to hit the ground running with our Microsoft 365 Compliance Suite.
Thank you for sharing all of this with us today, Jenny. Let's take a look at the customer who has put a lot of these risk management products into action, Drax Energy. We'll hear from them on how they are integrating solutions to stay productive during this time of hybrid work.
At Drax, the main thing we're known for is generation of electricity, and we do that through the burning of biomass, renewable fuels. The thing that excites me most about working at Drax is that it's an innovative company, and from a values perspective, we work on things that we care about, and we care about the environment, and that's a big driver for me. Before we standardized on the Microsoft solution, we had a number of tools. It was a bit of a hodgepodge security collection of twinning tools where we had redundancy. When faced with multiple tools, it's an integration challenge, and the more effort that you're putting in that, the less effort that you're putting actually into resolving the security problems you've got in the first place. The end-to-end suite with Microsoft and the way it's all integrated simplifies things from a 3-point perspective. We know what's on the roadmap, and that helps enormously for us, particularly when we're looking at gaps in our controls. And then moving on to an operational level, it means it simplifies our policies and procedures. It's much quicker from our perspective to deal with a single set of tools as opposed to moving around multiple vendors. A big challenge for us is GDPR, of course. So the data loss prevention and Microsoft information protection, they work in tandem, particularly when we're doing investigations. We have compliance investigations, of course, and there's obviously insider threat work that we do. And so the tools work seamlessly with Defender as well. The products and solutions that we've got from Microsoft and the way it supports the team, it makes us more bold and innovative and be able to grow and support the strategy of the business.
We want to help build a safer world for everyone by protecting privacy, innovating with security, and ensuring the safety of sensitive data. That's why we'll continue to invest in a compliance cloud with capabilities that span everything from protecting data to managing risks and helping meet compliance requirements. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at Ignite, and make sure to check out our on-demand sessions that'll take a deeper look into those product areas. Thanks for joining us.
We've experienced some major changes in the last year, especially in the workforce. We moved to hybrid environments. We've moved to remote environments. We've learned to enjoy content on a variety of different platforms, and that includes Microsoft Ignite.
Hi, I'm Jessica Feku, Security Product Marketing Manager here at Microsoft.
You just tuned into Microsoft's Compliance and Privacy General Manager, Aleem Rayani, discuss solutions that can help you reduce risk across your digital estate in the world of hybrid work. Learn more about how you can accelerate your digital transformation. Hear from Partner Director of Engineering Ramya Chitrakar and Microsoft's Vice President of Enterprise Management, Steve Dispenza, in breakout session 243 as they demonstrate how Microsoft Endpoint Manager can help you build business resiliency, strengthen your security posture, and adapt in a cloud-connected hybrid world of work. And stick around with General Manager Aleem Rayani in breakout session 251 as he helps you understand how to maintain and manage your compliance posture by sharing his 5 steps for building a secure workplace. If you have any questions about the products, the news, or announcements that you've heard today, check out the Connection Zone, where you can connect with any of our subject matter experts in an Ask the Expert session. If you missed any of today's sessions, they're available on demand. Check out aka.ms/msignite21_security/on-demand. We want to hear from you. Share your feedback with us by participating in a product roundtable. Be sure to stay up to date with all of the latest news and announcements surrounding Microsoft security by visiting www.microsoft.com/security. Or follow us on social at MSFT Security on Twitter or Microsoft Security on LinkedIn. If you've enjoyed these sessions, be sure to join us tomorrow for an action-packed agenda on day 2 of Microsoft Ignite. We kick off the morning with the industry's leading cybersecurity experts in Into Focus Security, and then we take a deeper dive into the future of security with thought leadership breakout sessions. You won't want to miss this. Stay tuned for what's ahead and enjoy the rest of Microsoft Ignite.